when we look at this child, we like to label, put him in a box, but in reality, it's just at the core is an unhealthy brain. And I don't think it's as important to label it as a disorder. I think it's more important to understand what's driving it, and it's not, and realize it's not the child's fault. Hey everyone, this is Dr. Barrett. I'm a board-certified chiropractic physician with a passion and emphasis in functional nutrition. We can't wait to add value to your health as well as the health of your family. Thanks for listening in to the Real Health Podcast.
Hey, before we jump into today's episode, do me a favor. If you like this episode and you like hearing from Dr. B, share it on your Facebook, share it on your Instagram. We're really trying to get this health movement out. So without further ado, let's get to today's episode. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Real Health Podcast with Dr. B. This is your host, Lane. I've got Dr. B here, and we're going to go on to part 2 of neurodevelopment disorders. I know last week we had a little fun episode in regards to holiday gift ideas, and if you got any of those, I also thought about this last night, and we're going to go into something else cool that Dr. Barrett's going to do for you guys. But if you end up getting any of the gifts that Dr. Barrett recommended, I know that probably would be post-Christmas. Make sure that you post it on social media, tag us so we can repost that. Those gifts are cool, and hopefully some people are going to get some cool gifts out there. So,
oh yeah, my sister texted me from Florida.
From Florida.
Yep.
Is it good weather down there? It's better than here, probably.
Way better than here. Yeah, 80 and sunny is pretty sweet.
Yes.
And she was telling me she listened to the episode. She loves it. Hearing about those different kind of biohacking gifts, and she's getting one for her husband. So, and
can you tell which one she's getting or no?
What if he listens?
That's true.
Like, I don't know. He probably isn't. He probably doesn't listen in, but you never know. A lot of Zen sprays.
I hope you have that because I'm probably going to have some after this.
I don't.
Oh man.
I'm sorry.
What? Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
Are you still getting questions about that?
Yeah, consistently.
For any of
and
you,
I have to tell everyone, do not inhale.
Do not inhale. For everyone that's wondering what in the world we're just talking about, go back to episode 27. It was the Barrett Biohack of the Week, or you can go to the Instagram pages. That's a perfect segue. And make sure that you watch the video of us experiencing the Zen meditation spray for the first time. Hopefully I'm going to have that in my stocking.
I will tell you that the effects wane over time, right? So with each subsequent usage, obviously, because it is a neurochemical effect, you do get a little bit of down regulation as you use it. Which is,
do more squirts.
Oh, yeah. That's usually the answer to most problems.
Just do more.
If you don't feel enough, do a little bit more.
Do a little bit more.
Than last time.
All right, guys, like I said, make sure you're following us on Facebook. Make sure you're following us on Instagram. Tag us in those gifts if you were to get them, or if you get the Zen spray, make sure you do that as well. Also, I was thinking the other day, if you need help navigating where to locate that Zen spray, it can be kind of buried on the internet. Let us know, and I can maybe guide you in that right direction for that.
Yeah.
Were you going to say anything?
Mm-mm.
No. What are you drinking, by the way?
I'm starting the day off with mate.
I didn't know if
Yerba mate.
Didn't know if you were doing
Gyokuro.
another joke inside.
I'm out of Gyokuro.
A
new order is being placed. If you'd like to be a part of my 50-kilo order.
Oh goodness! All right. Before we get into today's episode, we have done the review of the week, and we want to really get back into those. But with that, Dr. Barrett is going to do a little contest or a little promotion. So from now, which is this episode will come out on December 9th until December 30th. So that is what, 21 days if my math is correct?
Yep.
You will if you give a review and you give a rating, preferably a 5-star, you will be entered in to win a drawing for a free hormone lab test. That's right. If you do a review, it's so simple. If you go over 5 seconds, you do a review, you do a rating, we will draw the name on the 6th, which is 2 episodes from now. We will announce the winner. You will get a free hormone lab test. Briefly, Why would someone want a free hormone lab test?
Well, annually, it's a good idea to just keep an eye on your hormone levels. So estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. I'll actually connect with you personally, and because we may need to do more of what we call an adrenal stress profile instead of your typical sex hormones. But you're going to look at those because when they start to wane, sex hormones or adrenal hormones, then we know the body's under too much stress. And so it's just a good place to start to see if there's any like energy droppage or, hey, I can't lose weight or I'm brain foggish or, those symptoms are directly tied to hormones as well as numerous others. So doing it consistently, yearly, annually, getting your hormones evaluated is a really good idea of looking at just the picture of your health.
That's amazing. Guys, he's doing that for free. He will do that. The winner, again, will be announced on the 6th. You have from now, when this episode comes out, till the end of the year. So pause this episode, go over to Apple, scroll all the way down, 5-star rating. Tell us what you love about the show, and you will be entered in to win that. And we will do that on the 6th. We may actually, you know what? We may do it live on the show. I may draw that thing live on the show, so when it is announced on the 6th free hormone lab test. Let's get into part 2. Make sure you go listen to part 1, which was episode 28. Remember, we skipped that episode. It's Why Your Child Went Crazy, part 1 of the Neuro Development Disorder. We did pandas, which I got to learn all about which pandas were, but today is part 2, and it is ADHD.
Yeah, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So, it's your classic can't pay attention, can't focus, kid can't sit still. Predominantly affects boys more than girls, and that's true with all really neurodevelopment disorders.
Is it fair to ask why?
Yeah, it's fair. So there's some literature that supports estrogen is a little more neuroprotective to the brain, and so we see like there's some studies that show autistic rates affect boys more than girls because a greater level of estrogen, which is predominantly obviously in female, is going to protect the brain from neuroinflammatory disorders. So if we have a neuroimmune response, right? So a brain inflammatory response, whether that's from excessive vaccinations, whether that's from infections, whether it's from food reactions or all the above, well, a little bit more estrogen protects the brain. But boys, because they don't have as much neuroprotective capabilities, and so they get more neuroinflammatory changes. But it's interesting. Over time, so we see this dominance towards males, boys, to females when they're young for neurodevelopment disorders, right? So it's neuroinflammatory disorder. As you age, the neurodegenerative conditions, which are very similar to the early neurodevelopment conditions, they're both inflammatory. As we age, those neurodegenerative conditions like Alzheimer's and dementia are actually a 1-to-1 ratio, male and female, because a female will stop producing estrogen. And so we see the brain inflammatory protection, anti-inflammatory protection diminish, right, as they age. So
it's interesting.
So there's a correlation there. Yeah.
That is very interesting. Mm-hmm. That the males and the females. Okay.
Yeah. So ADHD as a whole, though, will affect boys and girls.
Okay.
And it's a lot of times, unfortunately, it's something that is, I don't know, brought on by a teacher. Will say, hey, I think your kid needs medication, which is not the route you want to go.
Yeah.
right off the bat. I mean, just throwing a pill at a body at that age. I mean, we're talking about kids as young as 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
It's just not the way. So today we're just going to kind of bring out some options, some really basic, hey, let's think of this as maybe a first step solution. And we've seen some incredible success with it in the office.
This episode actually is one that I have a ton of questions about just because of my lack of understanding, I guess, per se, of it. And I asked you before the episode, and I don't know if it would be important just to real quickly say difference between ADD and ADHD. Is that important for people to realize?
Yeah. So ADD is attention deficit disorder.
Correct.
The H stands for hyperactivity. So we have the attention loss plus the hyperactive child. I think it's important to kind of, we're saying ADD, ADHD, but I think it's important to step away from the label for a second and just realize what we're seeing in neurodevelopment disorders. Okay, what we're seeing is a combination of genetics and environment clashing together, creating symptoms that are traditionally diagnosed and labeled as a disease by the medical society, but in reality, it's just an unhealthy brain. So
that's what okay.
So whether it's attention issues, whether it's hyperactivity issues, whether it's Tourette's, whether it's tics, whether it's anxiety, these are all just symptoms of an unhealthy nervous system. And so I think that's the most important thing, is not to label the child, but to really look at the situation as, okay, this is not the child's fault. It's not like they're trying to be hyperactive, right? They don't just wake up one day and say, hey, I'm gonna be as hyperactive as I can. And so you see it, right? Okay, your kid goes to church or goes to a birthday party, right? And they might get a piece of some candies, sugar. They leave there, and what do you ask? I hear it all the time. What did you eat? Right? So you see it. It's when you take sugar and put it in a child's brain, it's hyperactivity. It is schizophrenia. I mean, for a couple hours, it could be emotional outbursts. It could be really, really crazy symptoms. So when we look at this child, we like to label, put them in a box, but in reality, it's just at the core is an unhealthy brain. And I don't think it's as important to label it as a disorder. I think it's more important to understand what's driving it, and it's not, and realize it's not the child's fault. And then if we can uncover some root issues behind why that brain is not expressing itself in a healthy way, then we have the ability to curve that ADD, ADHD disorder into a healthy brain presentation.
That's so, I mean, I guess for me, if someone says they or their child has ADHD and, they're on, what's the common medicine?
Well, back in the day, they used a lot of Ritalin.
That's right, Ritalin.
Focalin, yeah.
What's the name brand of it, though? Not Ritalin. Adderall. Is that right? Is that right? Is that Ritalin?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's
it's another medication, but yeah, Adderall.
It makes you focus, correct?
Oh yeah, it was a big one. Yep.
I mean, that was, and it probably still is around college campuses like crazy to study and whatnot.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But so correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't go into a physician's office and there is a test that says yes or no, you have ADD or ADHD, or is there?
Well, you can be medically diagnosed with a disorder.
Okay.
Yes, you can. And you have to pretty much check a few boxes.
Correct. Okay.
And if those boxes are checked, then you get this label. So absolutely, it is being labeled at a really high level right now, and a lot. Have you heard the saying, "Boys will just be boys"?
All the time.
And just got to let your boy run wild.
We have a 15-month-old now, and he's just kind of going crazy.
Yeah. So let's get into why. Yeah. The why. But one of the reasons why is because we're caging our children.
Oh yeah.
Right? Our kids were they're not designed to be caged in a classroom for 8 hours a day at 5 years old. Bro, that would, even today, have you ever gone to a conference recently and sat there for...
It drives me crazy.
Oh, get me out of here.
Get me out of it.
It's like I can take content. My brain can process some content.
Yeah.
At some level, get me out of this cage, and I'm going to fight for it, right? So it is pretty amazing when you think about what we're doing to our children. We feed them usually a high sugar cereal for breakfast. Okay, so we just give them a bunch of sugar. We put them under fluorescent lights that are buzzing.
This brings me back to my childhood. Keep going.
You're sitting there trying to stare at a whiteboard that the teacher is trying to explain new material to you, and you get 20 minutes of recess, and you get 20 minutes of lunch, and the lunch is just more sugar,
square pizzas.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, of course we have ADHD, right? And so at some level we were just meant to run wild a little bit. So
I used to we'll joke around and talk about the school lunches, and then I will think back to just in sports in general, like how did I function going through a day that I did and eating what I did and going to a sport practice, and like sometimes I'm like, well, no wonder I was always tired when I got home.
No wonder I had allergies. No wonder I had asthma. No wonder I was tired, right?
I know.
It's incredible that our kids we actually are alive.
Yeah, it's true.
It's incredible
what the body can do.
What the body can process is processing straight junk and somehow making a human last and live.
Yeah.
It is wild. Yes.
It's wild. Well, so with this episode, as you're talking about it and you're speaking to it, I know that there is a parent that's listening to this right now that probably says, okay, my child has ADHD or they have ADD. I need help. Like, I need help. Like, this is great. Like, Dr. Barrett, I get it. Like, this is my child. But now let's talk about what can they do? How do they need to look at this? Like, give the individuals and the people that are listening to this some help and guidance.
Okay, so let's get to some like root issues and then some like quick solutions.
Okay.
So at the core of it, what we see, why we call it a neurodevelopment disorder, is what we see is that the brain doesn't develop equally, bilaterally, both hemispheres the same as they age. And so what we usually see in children with neurodevelopment disorders is what we would call a right brain delay. Their right side of the brain is a little bit weaker than their left side. Now, this is getting into a little bit more, hey, we got to test for this, we got to look at this, and we call this really functional neurology, where we're testing these areas of the brain and finding these weaknesses. But at the core of it, this right brain delay seems to be a core imbalance. So we see, one, weak brain. Two, we see a brain needs stimulation, okay? So healthy stimulation. Well, we don't need unhealthy stimulation. So a lot of blue lights and screen time is unhealthy stimulation. So walking barefoot on the earth, healthy stimulation. So we see this right brain delay. We see this poor stimulation, right? This excessive high frequency stimulation. Then we see the poor nutrition, so metabolics. We see high inflammatory foods. We see high sugar, refined processed foods. And we see poor fat intake. Now, most of our brain is made of fat. So metabolically, the brain needs fat to function. But when it consumes foods like gluten and dairy and processed sugars, the brain is inflamed. It is absolutely inflamed. And so it's not going to, one, have the nutritional capacity to function. It's not going to have the fats to actually have energy systems working well. And then, obviously, just the inflammation associated with sugar and processed foods, dyes, artificial sweeteners, artificial colorings. All right, these are all just hyper excessive stimulation to the brain, high inflammatory effects to the brain, which makes the brain on fire, makes the brain very angry and very upset. So we see, right brain delay. We see poor stimulation and excessive bad stimulation, and we see metabolics as being a core issue as well. Part of the metabolics we can also see, as we talked about last episode, is infections. Infections can also be a problem, especially in kids, or that can drive some neuroinflammatory effects. But those are some of the main areas that we look at in the office.
Nutrition, stimulation.
Yeah. You could start there, really. I mean, the right brain delay, that's getting a little more specific. That's getting into functional neurology and rehabbing that right side of the brain or whatever area of the brain. Kids, for instance, like frontal lobes aren't developing well fast enough. And you see that because that's your executive processing part of the brain. And if you look at a boy versus a girl, okay, boys' brains just don't develop at the same rate as a female. Their executive processing is a lot lower. boys do stupid stuff older than girls. Okay, the boy at 18 is still doing things that the girl probably would do at 12 years old. So boys just naturally
They develop later.
Frontal lobes develop later.
That is a thing. People say that because it's true, right?
Yes, sir. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. So we don't have to get so much into like brain development, but I do want you to know, if you don't live in Knoxville, hey, search out maybe some functional neurology. We call it chiropractic functional neurology. Chiropractic functional neurologist, and they can help you identify some of these weak areas of the brain. But the other two, these are low-hanging fruit. So one solution is screen time. We talk about this all the time in the office. We need to decrease screen time in these kids. I mean, I would say, like, without absolutely, cutting someone off from a drug, which screen time is a drug to the brain. It's just dopamine. Is less than an hour a day. That's it. That's like, okay, giving the kids some level of like cartoons, TV, a little babysitting for the mom, help her out a little bit on that.
Yeah. Are you familiar with some of the shows out there that some of these kids are watching? Are you well versed in that, or are you kind of far away from that?
Yeah, I probably am not well versed in it. But what I do know, and I think you have a point to there that you can ask.
Because there are some shows out there, man, that are stimulating even for when I look at it.
Okay, so here's what's happened. Go back 40, 50 years, and our shows were very slow.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It was storyline. It was
Franklin the Turtle.
okay, yeah. It was even just going back even to the black and white days where there was it was one room setting, and like this 10-minute episode would have this single camera view.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't change. There would just be interaction.
Yeah.
See, so we talk about the frames per second.
Exactly.
So what we've seen is this high amount of frame changing, right? So every few seconds, the frame has to change its position to keep the brain interested.
Oh, yeah.
That's only increased. It's gone from minutes to literally seconds, like a couple seconds. I remember watching. My son was into Legos big time, so the Lego movie came out. So we're like, oh, let's. I think that'd be cool. Let's watch it. It was so stimulating.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like I was having an anxiety attack.
Yeah.
I'm like, we got to cut this off.
Yeah.
Like, this is way too excessive.
Yeah.
The noise, the sound, the change of lights, the change of the frame. It was all happening very, very quickly. But what's amazing is it actually mellows kids' brains out. Because they're not used to sitting, watching leaves roll by in the grass, walking, running around, playing with a soccer ball.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
They're used to this high rapid frame rate change. And so it's the only thing that keeps kids interested now in their shows.
Well, I will say this. We don't have to go down into it, but I will ask, or whoever's listening to this, the parent, you can go do your own research on this. But I've done some research on it. My wife has done some research. That show, Coco Melon, has some significant frames per second.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you're aware of, because I know that you are.
I'm not.
Okay, well, if you want to do fun,
It's not surprising, though.
Go if you're listening to this, go do a fun experiment. There's some side by sides of the shows that you're talking about versus now. It hurts my brain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we'll leave it at that.
Constant stimulation. So in order to keep these kids interested, engaged, you need that constant stimulation, and then you put them in a classroom.
And it's boring.
Well, of course, because it's not Coco Melon.
Correct.
Yeah. It's not lights, camera, sound, action. Right?
Yeah.
So the frame rate's not changing.
Correct.
They're looking at a single person teaching them.
Yeah.
All right, dude, there's no way a kid can focus. We have created this high increase in ADD, ADHD through shows. No doubt about it. So just decrease screen time.
Less than 1 hour a day. Okay, screen time, low-hanging fruit, nutrition. Does that mean
nutrition?
Let's go back to it. Sugar. Okay.
Yeah, easy, done. But 2, increase the kids' fats. Make sure they're eating fish, especially on an early age babies. But fish is a great fat. Grass-fed beef, eggs, especially that yolk. Okay, that choline is essential to the brain. Like in the morning, wake up, have the kid eat a couple eggs and a piece of turkey bacon for school. Protein and fat. They don't need cereal, sugar. Okay. Nutrition. How's my kid so picky? Right brain delay. Okay. So force the kid to eat. You got to eat it, bud, or you don't get anything else. Draw a hard line in the sand. Okay,
That's the thing. I think that's the thing.
okay, Johnny, what do you want? No, this is what you're getting.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It is healthy for your body. This is what you're eating. Okay. If you can't, get enough of this like fats in their body, just daily, or to add to what you're already giving them from a nutrition standpoint, pure DHA liquid is huge for a kid's brain. So DHA is a fish oil. There's two types of omega-3 fish oils. There's EPA, which is more systemic body. There's DHA, which is more brain. So Apex Energetics makes a DHA, and in the store like Whole Foods, Vitamin Shops. Nordic Naturals makes a DHA, and you want to give a kid about 2,500, 3,000 milligrams of DHA to really calm down that brain. I mean, you'll see a huge response in DHA supplementation as well.
When it comes
fats, healthy fats.
Yeah, and I think when you said that, it comes to the point of the kid. Maybe you're not eating it, and I have found with Walker, our son, if he sees me eating something, he's going to eat it, and I'll eat some of the stuff that he has on, and he'll eat it. And it's kind of like monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah,
and
if you have an Oreo in the house and a piece of fish in the house,
what are they going to eat?
Well, they're looking at this like, I want the Oreo.
Yeah.
Just don't have the Oreo in the house.
What type of fish?
Salmon,
tilapia?
water.
Cold water.
Wild caught fish.
And that's important.
Very
you just said.
So wild Alaskan salmon, right? That's kind of like the staple clean fish in our house.
And so if you're not a member of the big box stores, Costco or Sam's, they have those things there. And I will say this, you can get those big things at Costco. And I'll just say this for maybe the person that's listening to this. Those when you look at the price tag of those, they're like, okay, that's a big investment.
Yeah.
And I would encourage whoever's listening to this that says that, like, what's more important? Maybe you going crazy because your child's going crazy, or the health of your child. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, the only thing I care about, and the only thing that my wife cares about, and I know the only thing you cares about, is having a healthy child and a healthy generation of kids.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference in cost between Tyson chicken nuggets and wild Alaskan salmon. I do not think that when you say, hey, there's some people that say it doesn't cost you more to be healthy. No, it does. It does. But that's where pulling some money out, some other areas, and budgeting properly is important. Yeah. So,
you want to wrap it up today?
Yeah. So I would say kind of the general consensus of this is decrease bad stimulation, screen time, get a kid barefoot running around the grass, increase healthy fats, okay, decrease sugar, okay, supplement in DHA, and if those things, those are very practical. If those things aren't working, okay, to the effectiveness that you desire, then check out a chiropractic functional neurologist. Go to a chiropractor, because what we see is that right brain delay as being a huge issue. And through chiropractic adjustments, as well as some brain exercises, we can balance out those hemispheres and get things firing really, really well.
That's amazing. I know that you have probably helped a lot of parents that are listening to this. I got a ton of knowledge from you, as always. Guys, it is December 9th. If you're listening to this live, if you're not, you have until December 30th to enter into the free hormone lab test. Baird, if they are not in the Knoxville area, they still can do this, correct?
I'll drop ship it to them and call them over the phone.
You heard that. Go right now, pause the episode, 5-star rating, because you love us, and a review. Let us know what you know.
Has to be 5-star.
Has to be 5. Can't be a 1-star. It's got to be a 5-star, and tell us what you love about us. Guys, thank you so much. Make sure you share this on all your socials. Share it with a friend. Share it with a family. And most importantly, if you're listening to this and you stayed with us this long, if you know of someone this episode could benefit, one share could possibly save their life, could save their family from their kids and everything that they've got going on in their life. Guys, we love you. Thank you so much for listening to the Real Health Podcast with Dr. B. We'll see you next episode.
Before you hit X, hold on 1 second. Hey, thanks so much for listening to the podcast today with Dr. B. 2 things that would really help the Real Health Podcast movement. 1, share it on your social media, your Facebook, your Instagram, wherever you're on a social network. And 2, if you go to Apple Podcast and you scroll down, give us a 5-star rating and give us a review. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you next episode.